Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to come and spend a Sunday morning with you and share something that's really dear to my heart. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Neil Donald Walsh. He did a series of Conversation with God books. One of his children's book that he has written is called The Little Soul in the Sun. And what I love most about it, it's a children's story that explains who we are and what we are as primal beings, and the contracts that we make as we come into the earth plane so that we can experience more of the perfection of who we are. If you've never had a chance to read this story, I would suggest you go to the library, find it. If you have children or grandchildren, this is an excellent book for them to get them started on the greater knowledge of who we are, as opposed to limited ideals that are often picked up as children go through their young lives from outside sources. So that being the case, in synopsis, and actually Bill gave a great synopsis of my talk. I really don't even need to say much more. Thank you, Bill. You made it easy for me. So basically, there's a little soul that is talking to the sun being the great conglomerate of the great compassionate light of all beings. That's so some people would call that source God. And the little soul is talking to the sun, is very, very excited because it's discovering its perfection as a being. And God is encouraging the little soul to really revel in the fact that it's a perfect being, that it is everything and nothing and all things and no things. What the beautiful thing about this book is it explains it in such a way that it lets the little soul know that we are all souls. We are all perfect. There is nothing that is out of order here. God does not make junk. And although we have a tendency to beat ourselves up, to speak negatively of ourselves in our own mind, those are conditions that we have taken on since we've been walking on the earth plane. That is not who we truly are. We are not limitations. We are expanded beings beyond our wildest imaginations. So the little soul asks the sun to know more of itself. And it's a beautiful journey. The language is just beautiful in this book. And God says, okay, well, what do you want to be next? Or the sun says, what do you want to be next? And the little soul gets so excited and says, oh, I want to know myself as forgiveness. And the sun says, okay, how can you possibly know yourself as forgiveness if you're already perfect? If you're already who you are, what is there to forgive? And the little soul goes, you got a point, I don't know. And God smiles, the sun smiles and says, well, you want to experience this? That's a perfect thing to do, experience. We just have to see how it's going to play out. Now, meanwhile, another little soul is listening to this conversation, because by now, word has gotten out that the little soul is having a conversation with the great sun, and all souls have gathered around to listen. And then the other little soul says, I can help. I can help you. And the first little soul says, oh, that's fantastic. How can you help me? And the second little soul says, well, when we have an earth walk, when we go back to earth in our life there, I can do something to help you remember that your forgiveness, that in your perfection, you will have an opportunity to forgive. And the little soul gets excited and says, oh, that's wonderful. What are you going to do? And the second little soul says, I don't know, but whatever it is, it's going to be really good. And you will have an amazing opportunity to know what forgiveness is. But the second little soul says, you have to do me a favor in return. And the first little soul said, anything, what do you want? What can I do? And the second little soul says, when I do this thing to help you experience and know forgiveness, you have to remember that I volunteered to do this for you. You have to remember that I am in my perfection while you are in your perfection. And together, we will navigate this experience and learn and grow. And the sun smiles at both the two little souls and says, remember when you are on earth, going through your earth walk, that I have sent you nothing but angels. So often we end up moving through our life walk with both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. There are many times when we are hurt, betrayed, abandoned, abused, as well as rejoiced and uplifted. There are many, many experiences. Each person in our life, each event, each circumstance has been drawn to us for the unfoldment of our perfection, for our learning, for our experience. Even though sometimes these experiences are not pleasant, and it's hard. It's hard because we learn to judge at such an early age. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. And when we're hurt, the first thing we want to do, our first thought is, oh, poor me, I'm the victim. Without realizing that we have actually drawn this experience to us for our own highest good and growth. That we are actually creators and not victims. Even though it's still easy to get hurt. And when this happens, when we go through traumatic experiences in our life, the greatest thing we can do is to realize that we have been sent nothing but angels to help us remember ourselves, our perfection, that every person on earth, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything is in perfect order, regardless of how crazy it looks to us. So I'd like to do something with you, if you're open to it. I'd like you to take a moment and just close your eyes, put your feet on the ground, and just take a few deep breaths at your own pace. And feel yourself centering into your heart space. feeling grounded, protected, safe. And I'd like you to call to mind the last time you felt hurt and the situation that caused that feeling to happen. And surrender into this feeling of hurt and pain and discomfort. Just relax into it. It's not your enemy. It's actually a great gift. Now take a step back and just view this incident as if you were watching a movie. Just witness it for a few moments. From a place of neutrality, just observe all the little details. If there is emotion there, allow yourself to feel it. Don't push it down. And with a smile in your heart, bless this experience. You can pretend this experience is like a big gorilla. And in your acceptance and surrender, you can make nice with this gorilla. You can pet it, say, okay, big, ugly gorilla who hurt me. How shiny your fur is. How big you seem to me. How awesome that you are willing to come into my life and play this role. That I may have an opportunity to embrace and forgive and know that I have done nothing wrong and you have done nothing wrong. And we are both here to understand that we are angels to each other. Helping us to navigate through this experience from the higher understanding and experience of grace. Remember to keep breathing nice and deeply, slow and steady. And take a moment to lovingly thank this big, hairy ape of an experience that you've gone through with love and respect. Take a moment to thank yourself for calling this experience into your life. that you may grow, that you may have the opportunity to see a higher perspective. Only you could have called this experience to you. Only you can bless it. So take another deep breath and call to mind a joyful experience that you've had recently. Experience the joy, the elation. See the details. Witness this experience as if seeing it with new eyes. And if your mind feels restless, that's fine. Just refocus on feeling joyful and looking at this experience. And embrace it. Maybe this experience is coming to you like a white unicorn. You can pet it and compliment it and see it in wonder and joy. And take a moment to express your gratitude for this experience, to all those involved in bringing this experience to you. And know that this too is perfection experiencing itself. And I'd like you to take one more step back from what you're viewing in your mind's eye. And I want you to see that the big hairy gorilla and the white unicorn are both angels that you have called to yourself. Angels who have agreed to come into this lifetime to help you experience yourself. To live an awakened life. So take another deep breath, and when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And I hope that you've opened your heart in greater understanding that you as an individual are a perfect being. The only fault you have is that you judge yourself. And that every other human being around you and in this world is also a perfect being. come to experience the contracts that it has made. That truly, when we take away the personalities, all we are angels experiencing life on earth. So I want to thank Bill again for the wonderful synopsis he gave and explaining soul contracts. I didn't think I needed to go into that again. And thank you for an opportunity for letting me share this perspective with you. I know for many of us who've been on our spiritual awakening path for a long time that this is very elementary in our understanding and our development. However, because life is the way it is, I really feel we need to be reminded again and again. This is the foundation. And when our foundation is solid, we can move through any experience with grace and ease. Like I said, good, bad, ugly, or beautiful. We're all here together. So thank you for being my angels.